Alright, ladies and gentlemen, posing like crazy darlings. I love the video where I call my fans darlings, Dollings. Alright, darlings, everyone. Darlings, darlings, darlings. Now, believe it or not, I was actually watching Joan Rivers. Now, I know I never talk about Joan Rivers. I never say anything about Joan Rivers. I never say anything about her at all. I mean, she looked totally different with the plastic surgery. She was a completely different person. But I did like her a lot. I really did like her. Even though I don't talk about her, she was really good. And she passed away when I was a bit younger. I guess 2013 or 14 or 15. I'm not sure. Maybe 13, 14. I don't know. Maybe 16. I don't know. But she passed away recently. And she was great. She was funny. She talked about her plastic surgeries like crazy. Which, I mean, for me, I'm not about plastic surgery, but she liked it and she looked great. I mean, she looked good. I mean, she was fake like crazy, but she did look very good. So, it's kind of nice to hear. I was watching her in bed with Joan or whatever, Joan Rivers or whatever, and it was funny. And it was funny because there was one guy, and he was totally not glamorous at all. And of course, he was like just sort of like he was just like, she was talking about how smart he was and everything, and then she was talking to RuPaul, and then she was talking about him, and she was saying, that he was, he was, he was very, not brave, I was going to say, that he was one of the most beautiful women in the world, even though he wasn't a beautiful woman. Oh, she was saying that a lot of women like, channels or watching TV or whatever you want to call it, YouTube channels now, or whatever you want to call it, satellite, whatever. She said that a lot of women like watching transgender people put makeup on because they do it so well. And I was like, hey, that's kind of cool. But I'm like, well, I mean, my fan base, I'm not sure. I think there's a mix of fan base on my fan base. I do have men and women on my as fan base, but I think it's more. I'm not sure. I don't know, but I think it's like, But she says that, and she's like, well, I mean, she's really happy with that, and she's kind of like, well, she's like, well, if you have, if you have, oh yeah, so if whenever guys do makeup on themselves, they do a really good job, they do a really great job, and they wear the highest of heels and everything. And then she was talking about how, gay men and transgender people were conservative, and she's like, well, how can you be conservative as a transgender person? Do you wear flats? Do you wear like a dark coat? So, it's kind of funny to see all that, it's just like, because it's back in the day where people were a little bit more conservative than they are now, but it's kind of like, well, that's cool, you see Joan Rivers talking about this stuff, and she had some other drag queens on the show or whatever, and it was kind of neat. She had Kathy Griffin on the show, and she's just sort of like a very, she was funny and she was down to earth, even though she had all this plastic surgery. And they did say she was sweet, but of course she doesn't think sweet sells. I'm very sweet and nice. I'm very sweet and nice, but only because I'm beautiful and I love to be happy, and that's the kind of person I am. But I mean, I do like to be a bit edgy too. And I think my look is edgy enough that I can get away with being famous on not being, on just being sweet and nice and being edgy in my look. I think being gorgeous in your look helps a lot. It's kind of like, if you have a look like this, you're just like, well, what else would you be doing? You kind of have to be an entertainer, or else what's there to do? But I mean, it's kind of like, well, um, with RuPaul, I do love RuPaul. I think RuPaul's awesome. And it was funny because when she was talking to RuPaul, she's like, "You're not that good looking or whatever." And I was like, I was just like, I'm just like, how can how would you say that to someone on air? But she's Joan Rivers, so she says whatever she said whatever she wanted. But for me, I do say stuff about celebrities, but I don't mean it. I try to be sweet about it. I try not to be like, "Oh, that celebrity looks terrible now" or whatever. I don't want to be rude, you know. But I mean, some celebrities have aged poorly, and some celebrities don't look as good. But I mean, I don't want to be rude about it, but I do mention it sometimes because I do feel I compare to a lot of them very well. Anyway, thank you all for watching. All right, bye now. Bye.